This conference will now be recorded.
All right. I'd like to welcome everyone to the Town of Southbridge, May 13th, 2021 Board of Health meeting. Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law and the Governor's March 15th, 2020 order imposing strict limitation on the number of people that may gather in one place, this meeting of the Southbridge Board of Health will be conducted via remote participation to the greatest extent possible. Specific information and the general guidelines for remote participation by members of the public and/or parties with a right and/or requirement to attend this meeting can be found on the Town of Southbridge website, www.ci.southbridge.ma.us. For this meeting, members of the public who wish to watch the meeting may do so in the following manner, as usual, via cable access. TV channel 192. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. In the event that we are unable to do so, despite best efforts, we will post on the Town of Southbridge website an audio or video recording transcript or other comprehensive records of proceedings as soon as possible after the meetings. Right, we'll open the meeting. It is 6:03 p.m. Roll call.
Beth Stevens.
Here.
Roland Larochelle.
Here.
Nicole Duffy.
Here.
Anthony Pastali.
Here.
Thank you.
All right. Accept the meeting minutes. We have quite a few. We'll start with, I think we'll do them individually because I think Tony wasn't here for one of them and Nicole wasn't.
The 15th for me.
Okay.
Yeah, I was not the one there.
So we'll start with the April 15th, 2021 minutes. Did everyone have an opportunity to look them over? Anyone?
This was the meeting I wasn't here.
Okay.
I just come to be honest with you.
She just said she just.
Oh, are there any comments or concerns on those?
I didn't see any problems.
Yeah, I had skimmed them over. I didn't see anything that shot out to me.
Okay. Do we
In
have
that
a
case,
motion?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of the April 15th meeting as written.
Do I have a second? Nicole?
Yeah, I'll second it.
Okay. And a vote, please.
Roland Larochelle.
Yes.
Nicole Duffy.
Yes.
Beth Stevens.
Yes.
And Anthony Pastali.
Abstain.
Or abstain. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to the April 24th, 2021 special meeting. Anything?
I didn't see anything on that one either. Agreed.
Okay. And I think that's the one that you were not at, right, Nicole?
I believe so. I was looking at that right now. It's the one with a Hunterfoot there.
Nicole was not at
It was
the 5th.
the 5th. Okay.
That's what I was searching for.
I don't know.
Yeah, it
They're all
looks like the 5th.
they're all blending together.
Yes, they are.
Oh, the records show everybody was here on the 24th.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Roland. All right. If there's no discussion, do we have a motion to accept the minutes as prepared?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes from April 24th.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
All right. Vote, please.
Thank you. Nicole Duffy.
Yes.
Thank you. Anthony Pastali.
Yes.
Roland LaRochelle,
Yes.
Beth Stevens.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. And now on to the May 5th, 2021 special meeting.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
the only thing that I saw is on the last two votes, which would be on page 3 and page 4. All previous, it was recorded next to each name how they voted. That was missing on the last two votes, even though it does explain the motion below the name. So I don't know if we want to keep the consistency of the yes or no next to the names, as well as
Right here.
the outcome. Because the previous votes do have, it's just,
Right.
if anybody questions, the previous votes do have each individual's separate vote next to their name. So that's, otherwise I didn't see anything else.
If the board is uncomfortable, we can amend the minutes and present them at the next meeting.
That's fine. I think maybe just for housekeeping, just to keep everything uniform, I think that's what that would probably be the best.
And if I would, Madam Chair, I would make a motion to accept the minutes with those changes, those two changes on those two votes. And then we can get them archived, if you will, or publicized, if you will, after the changes.
Do we have a second for that motion? I'm okay with that.
So Roland, what do you want to do? You want to accept the minutes?
With that
With the
change.
recommendations, the recommended changes.
Oh, just to make that administrative kind of, just change
Yes.
those who voted which way. Oh, okay. All right.
Because it does explain the motion passed 3-1, excuse was Nicole. But it's just a housekeeping thing to keep standards because the previous votes have the individuals next to it. But I don't think we have to hold this
Hold it up
till
for
the
that.
next meeting before it becomes public record.
All right. Well, if there's no issues, I'll second that.
Okay. Can we have a vote, please?
Thank you. Anthony Pastali,
Yes.
Roland LaRochelle,
Yes.
Nicole Duffy,
Yes.
Anthony Pastali.
You said
Yeah.
Anthony Pastali first.
Did
So you might want to,
Handwriting.
Yes.
you might want to
Oh
include
my
the chair in
gosh,
this.
I'm so sorry. I can't read my handwriting. I apologize.
This is the
Okay.
May 5th point of order. Miss Nicole, were you at the May 5th?
No.
Yes.
No, it wasn't at that one. Abstain.
No.
So
Nicole
your
was
vote will change to an abstain.
right.
That's right.
All right, so Anthony Pastali, yes. Roland LaRochelle, yes. Nicole Duffy, abstain. And Chair Beth Stevens?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Got that cleared up and out of the way. Moving on, Citizens Forum. Is there anyone present who would like to address the board, discuss anything that is not currently on the agenda?
Madam Chair.
Counselor Adams.
Hello, all. I have a quick question. This is for Mr. Pelletier. The other day, I happened to be at Central Street Plaza. Mike, Julian, and Steve Lavoy were there looking at 330 Main with all the trash in the back. My question is, from what Steve said and what Mike said, is they had failed the inspection. I guess the property owner wanted to sell this property the next day, and they failed the process. Just following up with you because Mike was there. Did that go through? Did they fix that problem over there? Because I know that was a 100-foot property a couple of years ago.
It was a 100-foot property. It was sold to a company in New York. That company's been trying to offload it. They went and inspected earlier in the week. I haven't got the report back from Michael yet on what happened today. But
Okay,
I did speak to the owners and they are confident that it's going to change hands tomorrow. So that dumpster mess in the back, along with other existing violations, will be transferred to the new owner. And actually, I have Mike here if you want me to just ask him real quick.
no, I don't, I think my concern here is if there was residents up there and once
There are.
again, that building failed, should those residents be in there, I guess? If they
There
have
was.
residents, I don't know.
There was some protection within that building. Again, as soon as I get a report from Mike, I will let the board know and we will schedule whatever we have to schedule.
Thank you, sir. That's all I had.
What address was that?
340
Main.
Main. Actually, 340.
That's the old pump room building,
So
correct?
that's the- All right.
Okay.
So that's the 338, 340. Okay. I thought Dave said 330. So, okay, that makes sense now.
Well, based on the GIS, it says 330. So I was just pulling up the report card on it. That's all. And the owner lives at 334 Main.
The owner is recorded at 334 Main. We've actually tracked the owner back to New York City. So
Got it.
the any company that is doing business in Massachusetts is supposed to file with the Secretary of State as an alien corporation, and they're supposed to name a local agent. They filed with the Secretary of State. They named the local agent living at that property, and we have come to find out that he doesn't live there. He lives in New York. So we don't have a local agent for that property.
Go figure. Okay. I just want to make note to the Board of Health. Yeah.
340 Main, did they pass the fire today?
Yes, they did.
They did. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. That's all I had.
And so then just quickly to note, all that trash that's back there, you said, well, when is that going to be gone? I know you said that the funds and everything will transfer to the new ownership, but what's going on with that mess?
That has been cited. It has been ticketed. Today, we had opportunity because they came up for an inspection. We had opportunity to talk directly with the manager. He immediately got somebody on that trash, and we expected that it would be cleaned, but it wasn't cleaned. It was just moved to the other side of the building. So we are back in touch with New York, telling them that they are still responsible for that. And I do not have a time when that's going to be done, but we told them forthwith.
Okay. I just figured since we were on that property.
Yep.
Yeah, 3 o'clock today, the trash was still there today.
So
The inspection was conducted at 3 o'clock today. It started at 3 o'clock.
Counselor
So-
Adams?
thank you, ma'am. So the only other thing on top of that, are they allowed to sell that piece of property with a fine on them? Or will that, when they do the contract, will that fine be paid right to the town through the lawyer?
I do not know because it hasn't met the 21 day yet. So we have not entered it in as a lien. So it's not recorded anywhere. So I'm not sure if that fine disappears. I'd have to talk to an attorney about that.
Okay, thank you, Andy. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Anyone else have anything that they would like to address that's not on the agenda? Okay, moving on. COVID-19 update.
Madam Chair,
Yes?
if you look at the time, it's 6:15.
Yes.
And I would like to bring note to the agenda for a correction because the 6:15 public hearing it says Lot 12 at Prince Road, and every other piece of paper I have says Lot 1.
Oh,
It could be a typo.
It's a typo. It is lot 1, and it's actually lot 1 in Charlton, Mass.
okay.
And the plan is confusing because it shows the town line going through the septic system. And
Well,
it shows the
before we do that, Andy, before we do that, parliamentary procedures, please, I make a motion that we open the 6:15 public hearing to discuss about Charlton assuming full oversight of the septic system at Lot 1, Prince Road. that spans the town line.
Okay. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you. Roland Larishel, hello,
Sorry, yes.
thank you. Beth Stevens,
Yes.
Nicole Duffy,
Yep, I second.
and Anthony Pastelli.
Yes.
Okay. It is 6:17. So Andy, if you would like to go ahead and,
Okay, if I may, Town of Charlton, Jim Philbrook approached me. The town had done perks and deep holes in their town for a septic system. When the design of the septic system came out, the septic was half on Southbridge property and half on Charlton property. I discussed this with Mr. Philbrook, and he said since he had already done the groundwork and jurisdiction really should belong to one town, that he would encourage us to take to give the authority to the town of Charlton over current and any future issues with this property, unless we see a specific violation, in which case we will work through Charlton in order to get it corrected if it's related to the septic system. So this is really just a jurisdictional thing rather than split the authority of this septic system across two towns. We're looking for the town of Southbridge to grant Charlton the right to have jurisdiction over the entire septic system on this property.
okay. So, Mr. Philbrook already pretty much has done the legwork on this.
Well, what's required is you have to go in and do what's a site evaluation.
Right.
And the site evaluation, the perks and deeps, one deep was done in Southbridge, but the perks and the deeps were done in Charlton, and he's the one that conducted the tests.
Okay. Roland, go ahead.
And some added information from this, because I spoke to Mr. Philbrook this afternoon on another matter. And he did state that the house itself is in Southbridge, but more than 80% of the septic system is in the town of Charlton. And they did, him and I believe it was Mr. Meskis, did walk the property lines and found the pins today. So if that septic system is in fact mostly in Charlton, I don't see why this would be an issue not granting this.
Nicole, Tony, do you have anything to add? I mean, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, no, I'm okay with it, especially
I don't-
with Rose's point about 80% of it being Charlton. That would make more sense.
Yeah, I don't see any issues.
Okay.
That whole Prince Road project has been challenging up there in a lot of areas.
And, oh, we lost Andy.
Not yet.
Oh,
Just
okay.
looking up Just looking up some information,
Okay.
not pertinent to this.
Oh. All right, well, I think we're all in agreement. So do we have a motion to? And what would that?
I'll make a motion that as the agenda says, Charlton, I'll make a motion that the town of Charlton assume full oversight of the septic system at Lot 1, Prince Road, as the letter from Mr. Philbrook says, owned by the Stovers.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, vote.
Thank you. Beth Stevens,
Yes.
Roland Larishel,
Yes,
Nicole Duffy,
Yes,
Anthony Pastelli.
Yes.
Thank you.
yeah, I'll make a motion, we close the first public hearing.
Second,
Second.
vote, please.
Beth Stevens,
Yes.
Roland Larishel,
Yes,
Nicole Duffy,
yes.
Anthony Pastelli.
Yes.
Thank you. What time is it?
6:21.
Thank you.
Done.
In that case, I make a motion, we open the second public hearing.
We're on a roll.
Giving you a run for your money tonight, Reds.
Seriously, can't write fast enough.
On for recorders.
Do I have a second?
I second that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Beth Stevens,
Yes.
Roland LaRochelle,
Yes.
Anthony Postoli,
Yes.
Nicole Duffy.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, 6:22, open this public hearing, fee waiver for seasonal food permit to the town.
This is our request from our Economic Development and Planning Office. They pretty much have, I'm not going to say authority, but they run events regularly, or they will be running events regularly at the Central Street parking. The parking lot was built with the intent that we can put on shows there and have civic events there. And a lot of these events are going to include food trucks, temporary food. So they called me and said, what would the best way to go be? I suggested a seasonal permit, which allows people to take one permit and do events throughout the seasonal year, the summer season. And then she asked, what would it cost? I said, well, it's a $50 fee. And she, 50 or 100?
50.
It's a $50 fee. And she said, is there any way that I could waive that? Said the fees are set by the board, but it makes sense for her to apply for a waiver because it's coming from the town, going to the town. So take it out of the left pocket, put it in the right. So I am proposing to the board that we waive the fee for the seasonal permit that we are going to be granting to the Economic Development and Planning Office for these events.
Any thoughts? Nicole, you weren't fast enough, Roland.
No, go ahead, Roland.
That was on purpose. Go ahead, Nicole.
Just reading the vibes here. I'm fine with it.
That's it?
That's it. That's all, folks.
Yeah, I just want to make it known that this is not a precedent-setting thing because even the school department does this. You have to approach the board, but even a school department does this if a town entity wants to use one of their fields or facilities because of exactly what Andy said. It's coming out of one town budget and going to another one. So it's a total waste of paperwork. So I don't have a problem with it either.
I agree.
Okay. We have
So
a
I'll make a
motion?
motion to waive the fee.
Tony,
I'll make the motion to waive it.
Nicole Duffy.
Tony made the motion, Nicole made another one, but we'll call hers a second.
No problem.
Roll call. Anthony
Oh.
Postoli.
Yes.
Thank you. Nicole Duffy,
Yes.
Beth Stevens,
Yes.
Roland LaRochelle.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, since she's still writing the vote, I make a motion that we close the 6:20 public health meeting, hearing.
Give me a second.
We have a second?
You guys are too fast for me. I'll second that.
Thank you. Beth Stevens,
Yes.
Roland LaRochelle,
Yes.
Anthony Postoli,
Yes.
Nicole Duffy.
Yes.
All right, hearing closed.
6:26.
Woo-hoo. All right. Back to the COVID-19 update.
If I may, today we had one case. I haven't reported it out yet, but we had one positive case today, bringing our total count to 1887 since the onset of this. We have experienced a significant slowdown recently. Last 14 days, for the first time, I believe we were under 60. We have 50 cases of 1,448 people who tested. This brings us to 21 cases per 100,000 population equivalent, and our positivity rate is down to 3.3 again. It's nice to get it down below 5, even down below 4. This keeps us in the yellow for one more week. Our vaccine number of people vaccinated in the town of Southbridge is 5,300. Assuming 16,700, we're just shy of 33%. So we're on a good path to get fully vaccinated, and Roland will be able to report better on the activity at the clinic to see if it's still as vibrant as it was before. This week, Pfizer okayed or actually CDC okayed Food and Drug, I believe, okayed Pfizer for ages 12 to 15. So we can now vaccinate down to age 12. CDC came out with a guidance today that said that people who vaccinate don't need to mask up anymore. Massachusetts has not yet adopted that, or at least I have not received any guidance from the state regarding that. As soon as I do, I will let the board know, and I will let the powers within the town know and see which way the board wants to go with it and which way the town wants to go with it. We're still in the yellow. We're not in the gray yet. I mean, in the green yet. So I will leave it up to the board to know what they want to do with that. But I will get the guidance to them as soon as I get it. Beyond that, I have no updates.
Roland?
As far as I can tell you from the clinic, there, and this is only as of now, it's subject to change. They have closed on weekends because of a lack of people setting appointments on the computer. This week was the last Tuesday because Tuesday was a very, very, very light day for appointments. So instead of taxing the system and the workers and the volunteers and everybody else, they are also closed on Tuesdays. That being said, Tuesdays through Fridays, now Wednesdays through Fridays, from 10 to 4, they are allowing walk-ins. All this is subject to change till further notice. The times that I spent down there, like today, I spent 5 hours down there. There was an increased amount of walk-ins. There was a lot of younger children being brought in by their parents with the look of terror in their eyes, which I enjoyed. But it seems to still be moving. I do know today because my phone blew up because they had a problem with the 3 o'clock shift on getting vaccinators, and I guess they had the same thing yesterday. This morning and this afternoon it looked like it was very quiet, but I guess this afternoon when you only have 2 vaccinators, the line was around the building. So it is what it is, but they're making a good conscious effort to open days that they have to book appointments and not waste days. When you're going to average 600 a day, you're not going to open a day where you only have 130 people. So that makes good business sense to me. And the last count, they were way over 44,000 shots administered at a little site over there on Chestnut Street, coming really close to 45,000. So that pushed a lot of work out of there.
Nice. Now, Roland, the walk-ins, are those the J&J? Are they doing
The hospital, caught me with an ice cube. The hospital is keeping their J&J. Here's what they're doing. They are doing, this past Monday, they did J&J. Why? Because the 3 weeks is Memorial Day and they're closed.
and they're closed? Right.
So they are watching the expiration date on a J&J. They are keeping J&J strictly for homebound. So you can spread the word that if anybody is homebound, and I've had some people that declined it, that is their right. but Harrington is not waiving from it. They're keeping the J&J for the homebound one and done. And they're keeping the J&J for like special needs and type of things like that. So I do know that they're planning to have these holidays. 3 weeks prior to that holiday, that day will be J&J. And there's been a lot of discussions on how do we put the word out. And I believe the consensus was, and I agree with him, that you let people come to the door. Because then you are going to be able to cross people off a list to make another appointment on another day instead of having the no-shows. When you end up at 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the afternoon and you have, like we had on a Sunday, a Saturday, 17 people were no-shows, you have to be very careful of when you draw the vaccine up because of the time limit, and the goal is not to waste the vaccine. And they've been doing a phenomenal job on managing the vaccine. So basically, from what Jason told me and things like that, it is what it is, and that's what they're doing because they got a big tray. They did tell me they were always getting 3 trays from the feds. They've always been asked for 4, and this has been Pfizer. This past week, they got the 4th tray. So they have 4 trays now of Pfizer. Will that continue? Who knows? You never know until your order comes in. They've gotten this vaccine of J&J or Janssen from Rutland, who turned it away. So Harrington took it. So they're going to use it as they see fit, and it's etched in stone that is going to be homebound, and then they're going to do that for the one shot when 3 weeks away is a holiday and they're closed.
Okay.
Can I ask a question of Roland?
Oh, absolutely.
Roland, the walk-ins, there's still people who have appointments, correct?
Yep.
So if somebody has a 10 o'clock appointment and at 9:45, 20 walk-ins come in, is there a process to make sure that people who have the appointments get their appointment, or is it just wait in line?
It is open for walk-ins strictly from the hours of 10 to 4. So that way they've got between 4 and 7 and they can cut it off. When you look on social media and all the advertisements, it is specifically said that walk-ins will be taken care of as long as they have the supply.
No, I don't. Roland,
They
I don't think that's what he was asking, though.
They
I
had 2 lines that they made underneath
Okay.
that front overhang, but that's only, don't quote me, 4 or 5 people. One side was appointments and one side was the
Excellent.
walk-ins. I have not witnessed both sides because like all day today, all day yesterday, up to the times I left between 2 o'clock-ish, let's say, there was virtually no lines because the flow was there. The lines show up when they're short of vaccinators. So if, like today when they had lines, people are just going to have to wait in line. But they assured me they're honoring these people. If you have an appointment, that dose will be there for you. If they get short on dosages, they will stop the walk-ins earlier to make sure that the appointments are on it. How they're doing that, I had enough stuff to do. That's their deal.
All right, anything else? Tony, Nicole, any questions?
No, I think I'm good, thanks.
Okay. All right. You good, Andy?
I'm good, thank you.
All right, new business. We don't have any new business, I don't think.
No.
Well, okay, then we'll go to Old Faithful. Old business.
Okay, Beth, can I bring something up on the new business? It doesn't require a vote or anything, so I just
Oh,
want to
absolutely.
Just
Go
want to
for it.
update the board. And I think we can do it because it doesn't require a vote of any kind. just let the board know that we have a sewer leak on Crescent Street that I am in talks with the town manager right now, how we want to address it. It's a private line with 3 houses attached to the line. I am proposing to the town manager that we go in with town money and fix it. Slim Sewer was there today to figure out what the problem is, and they think it's a broken line. They're quoting low thousands to fix it, less than 5,000. So I'll be talking with the town manager. I'm off tomorrow, but I'll be in contact with the town manager by phone so that we can discuss this. But I'm going to propose that we fix it and try to recoup the monies later. I believe we have monies in a contractor account that we have with the Board of Health to do this. So my proposal will be we fix it and lien the properties or put a demand on the property owners. But I just wanted to make sure all the board members were aware of what was going on up there in case they got any contacts through Facebook or through phones or anything.
Okay. And that was the information that you sent out to us. So
I've been trying to keep it up, but I'm not sure what is going on because I've got like 5 going out to you guys right now.
no, we appreciate that. Anyone have any questions about the situation there? We good? Okay. Well, we certainly appreciate you keeping us in the loop. Thank you. All right. Old business.
Yeah.
Let's start with the fun one, Idlewood.
Miss
Yay.
Idlewood is still on the list for blighted conditions. As you know, we cited the exterior of the property, but we have been trying to get inside. We have a court date of next Tuesday, I believe, the 18th. This court date is just to gain access to the building. And based on what I see when I get in the building, we'll decide where we go from there, whether we declare the house unfit. Hopefully it will be in a condition that I think it's savable and we can get tenancy protection and some other beneficial programs that the court can order her to accept. As you know, she's refused to take help from, I've tried to get elder services in there. I've tried to get a couple of other services in there and she refuses to take it. So when Tuesday will be to gain a court order to get access. From there, I'll evaluate and move quickly towards whatever my inspection determines the next step will be. I'll be bringing the animal inspector in there with me because I know she's got 3 dogs and there might be a problem with dog filth. And I'll be bringing the building inspector with me to determine structural stability of the place. I don't know how far or how much weight is in that place. So that hopefully we'll have the next update after next Tuesday on Idlewood. Questions on Idlewood? All right. 215 Hamilton Street. The board may be aware this is one that we declared unfit for human habitation when the water was terminated back in 2017 or 2016, one or the other. This is one that we sent through the courts for receivership. The courts approved receivership of it, but no receiver wanted it because it was too much damage. The value of the property wasn't worth the amount it would have cost them to repair it. The bank has since taken over the property and we issued the order back on the bank to take the property down. They were in touch with us maybe 2 months ago, asking if they could sell the property now that house values have gone up. I told them we were skeptical about this, but we would entertain any plan as long as it happened quickly. We just came into an agreement with them and a buyer that they can sell the property under specific conditions that we laid out. Those conditions were that they apply for a permit within a month, that they get a Title 30, Chapter 34 review and a asbestos test within that same month, and that they begin renovations promptly upon receiving the permit, prioritizing exterior because it's a blighted condition and we primarily want it to be a pretty building again, and to have the whole thing completed by January 31st. I told them that the inspections department, mostly working through the building department now, would not move against that building unless they fail to make that deadline. However, we reserve the right, if they do fail to make the deadline, or if they walk away from this, to move back into ordering it to be demoed. Questions on 215 Hamilton? 495 South Street. This is one that a tree fell through the roof. You can literally look up through the second story windows and see trees through the roof. You can see the trees behind the building. We have issued orders on the owner to either renovate it or demo it. He failed to comply, so we changed it to an order to demo because we feel that it's reached a point where it's unsafe. We are trying to get this thing into court. However, we can't find the owner. The owner is Mr. McDonald. He is listed as living at 495 South Street, but he has a P.O. box in Worcester. We asked the police department to see if they can find him, and they have gone through several of their sources, and they say that the guy's a ghost, they can't find him. So I am reaching out to, I have a meeting with Mr. Caprera right after our hearing on Tuesday, and I am going to ask if we can get alternate service, or if he feels under Chapter 143, which is a building code, we can take this building down without taking it to court. I always hesitate to take them down without taking them to court because it puts the town in a potential liability for an unfair taking. But I think in this case, if we can get alternative service, I think we can cover ourselves as long as the court agrees to alternative service. Alternative service is often anybody who has a building that's not occupied in the town is supposed to be registering that building with us and supposed to be placarding that building with the ownership. So I think because we have that law in place, because the housing code has certain laws about identification, we will be able to get alternate service, which consists of posting the building, sending notification to his last and usual, which is the P.O. box, and posting it in a newspaper. But the court has to grant us that permission. Normally, service has to be in hand. So I will ask Mr. Caprera on Tuesday if we can go for alternative service. And hopefully we'll be moving that one to demo. I suspect because we can't find this guy, the town will be taking this down.
Okay, anybody have any questions about 495 South Street? All right, moving on.
Is there any other blighted properties that any other board members have interest in?
We missed 366 Worcester is not listed here. That has been in the past umpteen. Has there been any movement there?
Oh, I met with the, I'm sorry, I forgot about three of them. I met with the Attorney General. It's 361 Worcester Street, the property of Arthur Bainton. The Attorney General, I met with the new Attorney General's attorney, and I have asked her to consider this one for a receivership property. I am waiting for her so that she can tell me what she needs from us to move that forward. If I don't hear from her, I won't hear from her because I got tomorrow off. So I will contact her regarding that one. Reality on that one, all we want is to have the property cleaned. It still looks structurally sound. It looks like a very straight lines in the thing. I see no cracks in the foundation. So a receiver could conceivably own this property for the cost of cleaning it. The other properties that I showed to the Attorney General were 19 Crestwood. I don't imagine that one's going to go to the receivership because the Attorney General is going to order the owner to do something with that. And as soon as he sees Attorney General letterhead, they're probably going to contact them and come up with an arrangement to get it done. That one is up on Crestwood on the left as you go up. And the only issue I have on that one is some concerns with the, there's an addition on the right-hand side that doesn't appear to have proper supports. Mike Julian, the building inspector, has confirmed that it's on blocks and not on footings, and the property itself is a mess. Some slight cosmetics in the front. So again, for very short work, this could end up in a receiver's hand. I showed her 495 South, but she kind of laughed at me and said, yeah, I don't think so. And the other one I showed him was 36 Thomas Street. 36 Thomas Street is a very small postage stamp property with a single bedroom house on it. I think there's potential for this little house if somebody can get it for short enough money. I've been talking with Mike, who's been a contractor, got to be going on 30 years, 35 years now. And he said that if somebody went into that place, they could probably make a decent house out of it for about $35,000. So we're taking a two-way approach on this one. I've been in discussion with the Attorney General, which not sure if it's marketable because of the size, because it's very small. The profit on it wouldn't be huge. But the town is also on the verge of taking this one. So if we take it and the town is willing to take a hit on it, I think there's 22,000 owed in taxes and debt on this one. But if the town is willing to take a hit on the debt that's owed, I think somebody would offer short money to buy this one at an auction and possibly rehab it for their own use or for a small rental property. And it could go back on the tax dollar. So we're doing a two-prong approach on this one. And I would favor that the town take it, but if the Attorney General is willing to take it on, I'm willing to give it to them. And the last one that I have is 314 Hamilton, also showed that to the Attorney General. 314 Hamilton is a two-family right at the bottom of, I think it's a two, it might be a one-family, right at the bottom of Pine Street across the street. You may have noticed some recent illegal dumping there in addition to the original dumping. This is a property that was historically owned by Mr. Delors Bassett. Mr. Bassett did die this past year, so I have issued orders on the estate of Mr. Bassett. Nobody has probated the estate of Mr. Bassett, so nobody at this time owns this property. So I have ordered the estate to do something with it. There is no executor of the estate, so that's not going to happen. I have posted the property for it to be cleaned up. And that is another piece that I am speaking with Mr. McCall about, with the town manager. We put it out for bid to see how much it would cost to clean it. We put 4 bids out there. We got a low bid of $2,500. So we are going to approach Mr. McCall, see if he is willing to let the town take it, put it up for put a demand on it, put a lien on it, and hopefully there's some value left in the building that when it sells or when we auction it, we can get that lien back. But that one is on its way, hopefully with Mr. McCall's blessing, to a cleanup. So those are the 4 that I ran the Attorney General through.
Anything else?
I have nothing unless the board has a specific property they want comment on.
Do we bring up new properties now or wait?
You can bring up new property. Sorry, Chair, I don't mean it.
It's fine. What do you got?
Andy, I sent you an email. You said you were gonna have somebody go by today, 236 Dennison.
I sent,
That is another relative of your previous mentioned one, that I believe the house went into foreclosure. There hasn't been vehicles there for several days, and then yesterday, I think it was yesterday, I sent you the email. Yesterday, I noticed a whole bunch of furniture and other stuff outside on the street with a big sign that said free. That does not scare me, but if anybody goes by that house, the trash, the rubbish, the stuffed furniture that is piled up on 3 sides of that house, almost up above windowsill height against the house, is scary. I did CC the fire chief so they can put that on their watch list, but I'm gonna tell you what, somebody does something nefarious, and I'm not even gonna offer in case somebody sees this, that could possibly take 3 structures with it. Again, people walk away from a house, they have it taken away, they leave it in the pigsty, and the town has to deal with it. That is a pigsty.
I did send Miss Emily up there today. She reported back that, actually, she reported to me that, yeah, she had seen it the other day and was already taking action on that one. That property is one that we order cleaned up, it gets cleaned up, and then it goes to hell again. The eternal yard sale in front, and I know it says free, but I'm gonna call it a yard sale because there is always something out there and it's always to be distributed to somebody who wants it. So it equates to the equivalent of a yard sale. I'm looking in our general laws to see if we have any regulations on yard sales. We used to have yard sale laws that say you can only have a yard sale 3 times a year. That is gone. That's no longer in the general laws. So we can't lean on that. I believe that used to be enforced by the police department. We have issued a second order on that. We will be issuing a ticket on that on Monday, having just issued the order the other day. As I said, this one is one that we, at least 3 times in the last year and a half, I've ordered it cleaned. It gets cleaned and then it goes back again. So if it is not cleaned by Monday, I will have instructions to Emily to put a ticket on that one. As you said, Roland, I think it's in foreclosure or very close to town foreclosure. We had opportunity to speak to the owner of that one probably about a month and a half ago before the last cleanup. And he told us he doesn't live there anymore, although he was there when we talked to him. I bang on the door now and the dogs are not barking anymore. So I believe he has moved out of there and he's kind of using it as a business central or a place to dump his stuff. I don't think Southbridge should be a place to dump your stuff. So we are going to go after this one. We're going to ticket him. And if the courts will hear it, I'm not sure at what level they're taking cases, if they're down to trash yet. But if the courts will hear it, we will move this one with Mr. Caprera to the courts, if we can't get it cleaned up again.
Okay, yeah, and I haven't seen any vehicles there for quite some time.
No, I don't believe he lives there because the dogs are no longer in there. Usually when you bang, dogs come through the door trying to take your leg off.
On a positive note, if I may, Madam Chair, I believe it's 66 River Street is a breath of fresh air. They are doing a wonderful job rehabbing that one.
The two.
It's the one that the house in the back had burnt and they took it down. I think it's
Oh, 63.
63. Yeah. If we had more people like that doing work in town, we wouldn't be here. There'd be no need. That's phenomenal. The last one I had for an update that we had brought something up a couple meetings ago, last meeting, whatever, is cleaning up where Lopez moved out. I've been contacted by some people. It doesn't seem to be visually as bad as it used to, but some things that I've heard of people that have been in that building, I do not know how true it is. So I would like to see if I can make the sewer department go down there. I don't know what that is. If they go down and dump some dye in the toilets and the drains, because people have told me, and I don't know, you take it with a grain of salt, that either the toilets or the drains or both or whatever drained into the river. And I think if that is the case, that has to be rectified before any other use of that building comes into fruition.
If I may, madam.
Yes.
The owner of that property has allowed us into the property. There is a floor drain that I believe used to go to that pipe that comes out the back. If you look out the back of the building, you can see staining down the retaining wall that the building sits on and a pipe coming out of it. And the staining's right underneath that pipe. I stuck a snake down that line. He claims to me that the line was poured concrete in it. I rammed a snake down there repeatedly and I hit a solid blocking. I can't see the cement, but the line goes down and takes a right turn. But the snake will not get past that blocking. So I do not have reason to believe that it is not cemented. Again, he let us in there. He told us it was concreted, that there was a concrete plug in it. And I did attempt with Michael. We tried to run a snake down the thing and it kept hitting blockage.
As long as all the drainage and sewerage is copacetic, I don't have a problem.
Okay. I can't guarantee what that blockage was, but it seemed pretty solid and it wouldn't let that snake through. I do believe that the owner is a he teaches martial arts, and I believe he's going to turn that into a studio, or his intent is to turn it into his studio. So I don't believe that there will be cars in that garage anymore. So, and that's, again, just what I'm hearing from him. But it hopefully will make the situation irrelevant, because martial arts won't create anything that will spill into the lake. But I believe that line is blocked.
Okay, that's all I have.
Okay. All right. Well, then we will move on. Main Street.
On May 5th, the board did declare 318, 320 Main Street unfit for human habitation. Per the board's order, or per the board's direction, I ordered the owner on paper on the 6th. I issued a written order to vacate the building. On Monday of this week, which was the 10th, I did a reinspection and noted that the building was not vacant. At that point in time, I had to recognize that regardless of the owner getting the people out, the board did declare it unsafe and did essentially condemn the property. Having said that, regardless of the owner's actions, the building should be vacated. So on Tuesday, I believe at the end of the day, we got the mail out to directing the occupants that they must vacate that building forthwith. My suspicion is that if we get it out late Tuesday, it didn't get into the processing of the mail until Wednesday. Allowed 2 days for service of the mail, and they should be getting it today or tomorrow. My intention is to go into that place on Monday, see who is still there, and if any occupants remain in the building, then I will initiate court action with Talon and Mead, because our attorney has a conflict of interest with the owner. So I will initiate court action with Talon and Mead to get the people out of the building, get the courts to order the people out of the building. I have been in touch from an attorney from legal assistance talking about moving assistance. I have referred other tenants to this person because I imagine there's going to be some sort of action against the owner. As the board may know, this property, many of the people in this property were moved from 718 Main Street, which we had previously determined unfit for human habitation. So he essentially took them out of one situation and put them into an equally bad situation. I've done research on this property, and I brought it up at the hearing. Mr. Hunter Foote holds himself out as agent and acts as agent, and therefore, per the housing code, per the minimum standards for fitness for human habitation, I am treating him as an owner. However, there is a different person who has been attached to Southbridge RE LLC, and all of the documents have his name on it. So I am also attaching Mr. Mark Anthony Salsi, who was at the hearing, to this. Over this weekend, the town had an event in the newly constructed parking lot, and we are aware the dumpster parking lot looks beautiful, except for this dumpster and one other dumpster. So I discussed this with the chair today, and we determined that the conditions of that dumpster cannot be allowed to continue to exist. I called Casella. I told Casella, your obligation is to pick up that dumpster. They said, well, our obligation is not to bring it to the curb. They're supposed to bring it to the curb, and we'll dispose of it. So I told Casella, go there, bring it to the curb, bring it back up, throw in all the trash that's outside it, and bring it back to the curb. Charge the owner for whatever you can charge, but let me know what the remainder costs, and I will try to push it through my budget to pay the remainder of that. I asked them to leave the dumpster there, not take the dumpster away, because until we get the building empty, I believe the building's going to generate trash. So I am hopeful that the building will be will be emptied Monday, and I will have the dumpster removed on that day, and the dumpster won't even be there anymore. But regardless of Monday, when the building does become vacant, I will have that dumpster removed. One other issue with 318 Main is I found another apartment. There is a section of the building that juts out behind. I thought that was part of the church. It is not part of the church. It is a separate apartment. I have not gained access to that apartment. Mr. Foote has asked if the action of the board includes the church, to which I said, definitely, it is part of the main building. And he said, does it include that back apartment? I told him that under the building code, it is a separate building if he can prove to me with a engineer's report that there is a true firewall and that it has its own fire protection. But if he can't do that, as far as I'm concerned, it is still part of the building, and the building in its entirety has been condemned. So I am continuing to include that. I have notified, I have posted that door, so they are included in the eviction, in the vacate order.
So I was there after our conversation. I was there when Casella was picking up the trash, and they dumped that dumpster and they took it back, and they proceeded, these two guys with shovels in hand, shoveled an entire dumpster full of garbage and trash that was spread all around on the ground. So they removed 2 full dumpsters of trash from that location. And I mean, that's I just want you guys to understand, that's the magnitude of the amount of crap that's been sitting back there every single day. We have gone past there and we have made note, taken pictures, and, you know, kept up with how much crap is back there. That is ridiculous. And I'm really kind of upset that it took until today for it to finally go. And I'm sure by Monday it will be full again. Because all they're doing is throwing their trash out.
As the board may be aware, it was late last month. It was cleaned up. It was being kept up with until about a week ago. And it just went to hell again.
Well, so that just tells you that they just didn't even bother to take their trash out, because how do you have 2 dumpsterfuls in like 4 days when everything was perfectly fine? So, you know, who knows where all that crap came from.
Well, we allow a single 65-gallon toter per family. We have come to learn that there are 22 people living in this building. So it does not surprise me that they blow out the capacity of that thing being taken away 2 days a week. I have
we also
previously
were
instructed
not aware
Mr.
that there were
Foote.
22 people living there either.
Correct. I previously informed or ordered Mr. Foote to increase the frequency of pickup and or the capacity of the dumpster, which he couldn't do because it has to be a rolling dumpster, and the best you can do with that is a 2.5 yarder. But I told him then look to increase the frequency of pickup, and he never did it. So that is why the trash is being generated that fast. Not making excuses, that thing it's a pigsty. But as of right now, as of 1:30-ish, it was in pretty decent shape behind that building. It had due to Casella.
Oh, I know. I was physically there. I talked to those guys.
Yeah.
Because when I was driving home, I saw that they were there. It was horrible. And I just felt really bad for them, because apparently that is their regular route, and they were not super excited about having to clean up after Mr. Foote yet again. But anyway, does anyone have anything that they would like to add or ask? Roland?
I just have to say, I am damn tired. This board came together, and I'm going to tell you my personal opinion. That last emergency meeting we had knocked the shit out of me. What we had to do to those people for their own safety was terrible. April 24th, we ordered the back apartments vacated. Andy, you said it was going out in writing on the 26th.
Excuse me, I didn't
We
hear you.
have the meeting on May 5th and find out they haven't left. We ordered it vacated because it was a life safety issue. Now on May 5th, we say the whole damn building is supposed to be vacated. It's condemned. It is unsafe to put your head on a pillow. And all I'm hearing is paperwork going back and forth. And Sunday I see people in the building. There's still people in the building. Now he's splitting hairs about another apartment. Let me tell you a little history. Many years ago when I was a young firefighter, we had a town manager who was about 4'2", but she had the biggest set that you ever saw in your life. And her name was Florence Chandler. And we had an apartment building, and I believe, if my memory serves me, it was number 70 Central Street. The Board of Health condemned that building. The health department went in there with law enforcement and told every single occupant, get what you need for your meds, get what you need for overnight stuff, you're out of here in 5. The building was boarded up. There was no paperwork going back and forth. It was a life safety issue. The building was evacuated and the building was boarded up. The process was that these tenants, to get things, had to call the town manager's office, and the town manager called the fire department, and we went over with our screw gun, and these tenants were told, we unscrewed the front door, and these tenants were told, you've got 15 minutes. It was condemned for a reason. Here we are, May 13th. We're looking almost from our first problem about the double key door in the back. We're talking almost a month that the town of Southbridge, because that's who we represent, deemed that was unsafe for people to rest their head on a pillow and live in that building. Why isn't a hasp and padlock put on those doors? It has been deemed unsafe for habitation. Therefore, the people have no right to lock their apartment. Why doesn't anybody go in there with law enforcement, force the damn doors, make sure there's nobody in the building? If there is, serve them in hand, let them get their meds and all this stuff they need to live, and escort them out of the building, and the town of Southbridge secure that damn building. Because we cannot trust the owner. And let me tell you, I am totally disgusted. I do not even know why we have meetings if we have orders and we're a month away and we're still going back and forth with ink on paper. We're here and we discuss this for the life safety of these residents. And we're still playing tiddlywinks because he can't find people. He doesn't know who's in the building. This is BS. The building should have been evacuated, boarded up, and secured. Period. We gave the order. Why do we even bother giving orders if it's not going to be followed and there's no teeth to it? Maybe if we can, maybe if we can find Florence, we can ask her how she did it, because she was a lawyer too. But I've personally had it with this. Emotionally and physically, that last meeting knocked the shit out of me. And when we have to apologize to residents for having to do this to them, and here it is, we're talking another freaking week, and people are still in that hellhole. I am totally disgusted. I am totally fed up. And if this is the way that this is going to play, maybe we should disband this board because we're useless. Let the paper pushers push paper. Because I am totally done with this crap. It seems like nothing gets done. I do not know why. And personally, I am sick and tired of hearing excuses. Excuses are excuses. People want to tell me something, you tell me facts. But I'm stating facts. This is almost a damn month by the time after we ordered those back 2 apartments vacated. And we find out that there's between 15 and 20 people at our last Wednesday's meeting. We don't even know who the hell's in that building. And nobody's gone in there and forced doors and find out because we ruled it uninhabitable. And why isn't it taken seriously? And why isn't that damn thing boarded up and locked up is beyond me. But something's got to start getting done before people die. That's all I got to say before I say something I'm really going to read.
Hey,
Andy, or Tony, sorry.
I agree with Roland, but this is a tricky one, isn't it? Because you want the people out, but they have really nowhere to go. And I know that shouldn't even enter into the same equation, but it does. And this owner of this building is starting to get on my nerves, and that's a big thing. And I think to Roland's frustration is, how is this gentleman allowed to conduct business? Now I've been around long enough to hear his name long enough, and it's starting to get on my nerves to say he's really pushing the envelope. He's trying to play the system, ignorance and not knowing. I agree with Roland, like, how do you know? And then he comes back, Andy, and he says to you, well, do I got to get rid of the church and now? And like, it just seems like he's just always trying to push the system. And I don't know how to say enough's enough, but enough's enough.
And to Tony's point, Andy, you ordered Casella to dump that dumpster.
Yep.
And then you would tag the property. This is a dumpster. You sent us a Mass General Law that the state will reimburse the town half. Why the hell can't, I understand what Tony's saying, but why the hell can't we march these people down to Southbridge Hotel in the town of Southbridge, say, you put them up, and we start the process right now. We file to the state to reimburse the town for half, and then we tag him for the remainder if he doesn't want to take his responsibility. But my God, we ordered the dumpster, but we can't order these people out of the building. I don't get it. I don't get it. I understand what Tony's saying. Then why the hell can't this town pony up, get these people to a safe place, and we worry about the money later because we have the avenue to recoup half, and then we tag the property. And if we can't get the money back from the property, then let's take the damn thing and put it into receivership. And that being said, once that property's empty, Chapter 111 doesn't apply, Andy. So that gentleman, as Tony eloquently said, and I had a hard time saying it, should not and better not get a damn permit to undo a switch plate until he pays his bills. Because 111 will not apply when that place is vacant. But the excuse of not putting people up, I understand what Tony's saying. Well, damn it, this has been long enough. We've done our job. The inspectors have done our job. It is a scary freaking place. And these people are still living there. Get the police van, bring them down to the hotel, get the paperwork done, padlock and board the damn place up.
Andy, how many people are still there?
Last count, I had 18 that I could confirm. So 4 got out.
So
Did you say 8
essentially,
or 8?
so essentially no one left.
1-8.
18.
Essentially-
So no one left.
Right.
Essentially, one group left.
This is a joke. This is a total and complete joke. It's a
The
joke.
building burns down tonight. We're not even going to get a body count.
And that's it, I mean. Mr. Adams?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just, I got a couple of questions for Mr. Pelletier real quick. So the Economic Development Team has another event going on Saturday, and I appreciate the quick responses on the emails, by the way. And I'm glad to hear about 215 Hamilton, but to get back to 318, 320 Main Street, Again, appreciate the quick response and explanation. So on Friday, I'm requesting that Casella come down, dump the dumpster again before the event, or Saturday morning. I don't know if they're available on Saturday morning to do it. I don't know if Miss Dean had gotten with you. I requested it because it was an embarrassment. It was an embarrassment to you guys, to be honest with you. Because while I was there on Saturday and there was the event going on, inhabitants were coming in and out of that place. Matter of fact, I took a picture and the guy ran back inside. And obviously nobody took heed. Mr. Foote didn't take heed to you guys' thing, to your enforcement. So, nor will he ever, unless it's forced upon. But I'm requesting for the economic development. I shouldn't speak for them. I'm requesting that for this event that the dumpster be dumped again, at the owner's expense or the town's expense. I am also requesting that anything, that there should be no more ifs, ands, or buts about it. And I understand that there's a lot of laws out there that protect the residents and for moving out right now. But I guess another question is, obviously there's only 18. There's 18 left, and can the police be notified with you, Andy, going down there to physically remove these individuals? And if so, I would, as a resident of this town, I would also request that, just because of the safety for those individuals. Because if they die tomorrow, due to a fire or whatever it may be, the town, I'm assuming, would be liable, in some sort of way for not failing to enforce. I guess that maybe that's a question to you, Mr. Pelletier, is can the police go down there, physically remove them, board the place up? Because if you change the locks on it, Mr. Foote's got the locks, and he's going to come in and out, and so will his vagrant residents that live there. So that's one question to you, Mr. Pelletier. I don't know if you can answer that right now or not, but
I do not know if they can. As you saw, I was trying to intercede. I will, on Monday, talk to Brian Winter, he's an attorney at Talaman, and see if we can physically go in there and remove them without allowing them their due process. If we can, I will ask him the process, and I will get with the police and take them out. If they're still there Monday, I'll talk to Brian. And if Brian says that we can do it, then I will contact the police and we'll do it without taking it.
Thank you, Andy. I appreciate that. Another thing is obviously we have to follow the letter of the law here. So, I understand that. Another thing is, if Mr. Foote is receiving any type of state aid for housing these individuals, I've sat on 2 public hearings, and it sounds like it's some type of halfway house, boarding house, whatever you want to call it. But if he's receiving state aid, has the state, or does the inspector's office or the Board of Health office required to report him to the state to be able to shut off any funds that may be coming to him? Because I heard him specifically say none of these individuals have yet to pay me. So on the meeting, I didn't say a word, but that doesn't mean the state didn't pay him. And from what I hear on the street, he may be receiving some of this. So is it the Board of Health or the inspector's office, the town councilor's responsibility to report such activity to the state if you guys shut down this building?
Beth,
Yeah.
as far as I know, there is a process for having a certified sober house, but you don't have to follow that process to be a non-certified sober house. Mr.
Right.
Foote does not have either of his buildings registered with MASH, Massachusetts Association of Sober Houses. He would have to, in order to be getting state aid or to get state referrals, he would have to be certified with them. To my knowledge, he is not. To what you said, my obligation and what I've been doing is everybody that I can find on the registry of deeds that has any financial pull in this place, mortgage holders, any contractor who might have had a lien against him. Everybody who's at the registry of deeds gets a copy of everything I'm sending him right now.
Okay,
So the
that's good.
banks are aware of it, the mortgages are aware of it. I don't believe the state is assisting him yet because he is not certified with anybody that I can find.
Madam Chair, if I can continue, I do want to say that, again, thank you for the quick response and turnaround on my email this morning. I would love to see that place clean. And besides that, the smell, as people are there and as this program grows, you're gonna have more people. And I think Ms. Dean is actually working with DPW to figure out a way to block his place, at least the dumpster from sight. If I just will say this, last statement here is I was very embarrassed for you guys on Saturday, frustrated because I know you guys have been doing a lot of work, but just very embarrassed because the guy, call him what he is a slumlord, takes advantage of people. He takes advantage of people who have the right intent, and I'm glad to see his properties are dwindling down slowly within our community. I just ask that some type of proper enforcement, legal enforcement happen to that building before somebody gets hurt, and that legal enforcement happen to this individual that owns the building. That includes the property manager as well. And we remove the cancer from that area. I'm just really concerned for the residents out there because they're going to stay there as long as they possibly can because they actually have nowhere else to go. So they're going to stay there and they're going to continue to live there. And I'm telling you on Monday, they're still going to be there. And maybe you'll lose one. Hell, you may even gain one. Who knows? So that's my recommendation. I appreciate your time tonight to everybody. But I haven't spoken on this building in a while or this individual. And I thought it was about time after Saturday's event to say a little bit of something about my concerns here. Thank you.
Thank you. Andy?
I am definitely not in disagreement with Roland or Mr. Adams. It is my intention to continue pushing the enforcement on this building. Once I have it vacant, it becomes a candidate for the Attorney General's vacant building initiative, which is the receivership initiative. So once we do get it vacant, I will be inviting the Attorney General back. I think this one is an attractive one for them because there are multiple residences, multiple potential for income in this property. So as soon as it's vacant and it becomes a candidate, I will be moving this to the Attorney General for consideration in the receivership program.
But I mean, that's great, but we're 3 weeks in and we're still not vacant.
As I said, I will talk to Brian Winter and see if we can move forward without due process. I do not know if I can go down that road without an attorney. If we deny somebody their due process, that's not a road if I'm ordered to do it, I will do it, but it's not a road I'm comfortable going down until I know that we avoid that liability issue.
Even with this situation where there's no fire system in there, like to me, it's weird, Andy, and I'm not putting
like
you on the spot. Right, and Andy, I'm not putting you on the spot with that, but to me, it seems like there's got to be something in place because,
Understand, I am an agent of the Board of Health. If the Board of Health wants me to vacate that building immediately, I will call Shane and I will say, vacate this building immediately.
Andy, we gave you an order to have the building vacated. We gave you an order to do that. It's still not vacated. I don't know what other orders you want from us. We have asked you, we've had 2 special meetings about that building. Both times we ordered the building to be vacated because it's unsafe. And here we are nearly 3 weeks later, and we still have 18 of 22 people still living there. I don't understand. What more can we possibly tell you besides get them out? I don't get it. I don't get it. Roland?
Andy, have you reached out to any of your peers? I mean, my God, the little town of Southbridge is not the only one that is going through this. Have you reached out to the inspections and health boards? Because we know Mr. Foot has properties in Worcester. But you remember at the Health Association, have you reached out to any of the other communities, the Fitchburg, the Springfield, the Worcester, anything, to say, hey, what did you do? I was
I have
always
not.
taught to work smarter, not harder. And every time we call a damn lawyer, they're going to give you lip service because the clock is running. Skip the lawyers. Why aren't you reaching out to other places and get some insight on what works and what doesn't? Because I'm going to tell you, what the town of Southbridge is doing does not work. I mean, I just flipped out when you told me 18. I'm sorry. I almost dropped the meeting. Almost 3 weeks ago. And then that slumlord doesn't even, well, somewhere between 15 and 20. And you're telling us 18 is there and we gave an order and you served that order in writing to that owner to vacate. The order was given. It's not followed and it's being allowed not to follow. That's my problem.
Which is again why he just does whatever he wants and he ignores everything we say because, you know, days, weeks later, here it is, he's still getting to do whatever he wants. I'm done. I'm done. I don't know what more we have to say, what more we have to do, how many more orders we have to do to vacate. I don't know. I'm at a loss at this point because we do this and we do it for nothing. And it's just, oh, well, I'm off tomorrow, so it'll be Monday. So now we have another program going on over the weekend here in that space that is going to be affected because this deadbeat can't be bothered to get his people out. And I don't know, we can't seem to vacate a building that's been condemned for 3 weeks. I don't know. But, you know, let it be economic development's problem. Let it be somebody else's problem. I don't know. I don't have anything else to say. I'm done. Tony, Nicole, do you have anything you want to add?
So he has no incentive to get his tenants out of there, does he?
No.
He doesn't. I think it's time to rip the Band-Aid off. It's just time to rip the Band-Aid off at this point. I think we have to stop addressing him. I think we need to address the actual tenants.
Again,
And they
I have
have
issued
been.
an order on tenants. And like I said, if they do not comply by Monday, I will move forward in whatever direction this board wants me to.
I hope it doesn't burn down on Saturday.
All right.
So what do we want to do then? What are we telling Andy to do? I know, Beth, I know vacate the building, I know, but I think Andy was doing his due diligence as far as the paper trail, but now I think we all know that's not working.
But
He's
the paper
Foot's
trail
not
should have
helping
been
us out.
done 2 weeks ago. Like, I mean, do you get it? Like, it's just, these people knew, these people all knew, and I understand they may not think that they have somewhere to go. There are resources. Whether they like it or not, the problem is they don't want to leave Southbridge. So I'm sorry, you may have to leave Southbridge, but there are resources out there. Dr. Holland was trying to help some of these people. They can't stay there, period. And I think it's awful that, you know, they're out there throwing all this crap all over the place. And, you know, the town is trying to have a nice space to have entertainment and activities for its residents. And it's being ruined because we can't get people out of an abandoned building, you know, out of a condemned building. I just don't know how much longer
Right.
I don't know what else.
And with this, the summer's coming too, so that whole thing is not going to be pretty. But so is there something that we can? I don't know. I'm unfamiliar with this right now, but is there something we could give them a notice to say, if you are not vacated by this date, you will be out. You will be escorted out.
They should be posting it on the building.
Yeah, because I want to be sensitive, but we've been sensitive for how long now?
Well, Tony,
But-
I mean, we gave the order that they needed to vacate forthwith. That meant
Right.
now. It's been a week now.
I know.
It's
I know.
been
And there was
8 days.
quite a few
So
tenants.
forthwith, I'm done. Get out.
No,
I'm
right.
sorry.
Tenants on the meeting.
I agree. I agree. So now this is not Foot's issue. It's our inability to get them
resident
out.
issue. And I'm sorry that these people don't have a place to go, but you can't stay there. I'm done. I'm done with it. Nicole, go ahead.
I'm wondering if it's possible if we could reach out to the Southbridge Conference Center and maybe cut a deal as far as, because you're talking about 18 people. And, instead of them paying their rent, they could pay their hotel. And, I'm just wondering if there's something that, we could even just, suggest, because I'm sure many of them aren't even thinking of anything like that. So I think it's worth it to even just see if they'd be willing to cut a deal at this point, given the circumstances.
Mr. Adams?
Thank you again, Madam Chair. I guess my question is, if you're able to remove them because they didn't go, I guess this is Mr. Pelletier, if the police can be called in, if it's legal to have the police called in, have them removed from the premises, which Hunter Foot should be liable as well in this whole process. What's the next step to house them? I mean, I understand it's ultimately their responsibility per se, but a lot of these people probably don't have any cash, have bad credit, have everything under the sun, and they're not going to find them. They're going to find themselves in a place that's possibly will take advantage of them again. And I'm trying to be sensitive to their needs as well. But again, they're not going to move unless they're forced to move. So is the town liable financially to house them, or is Hunter Foot's insurance responsible for housing them or paying for the bill to house these individuals?
The law is specific that if a town ousts the tenants, then the town is responsible for moving costs. Historically, moving costs have been defined as the cost to move somebody. There is no obligation anywhere to find them a place to put them up, just the cost to move. The courts have historically set that. If there is no actual receipts, the court has set that at $750 a person.
Okay, so say the town gives it up for 18 or 17 or 22 again on Monday, right? So if this happens and they kick up the cat, we're forced to pay the money per person, then those individuals that have been forcefully removed really have nothing to do with the town anymore, but can go back after Hunter Foot for liability issues or for financial issues, correct? I know you're not a lawyer, neither am I. So
I would assume that there is a civil action that could be brought.
okay, all right. Like I said, I just want to make sure we do everything, the town does everything correctly. But again, if something were to happen in that building and people were injured or die, then I believe it becomes the town becomes liable for this. So, all right, that's all I have. Thank you very much.
As I said, if I am told that I can move forward without due process, then I will work with the police and I will get them out Monday. That is my next opportunity to talk to a lawyer.
Well, I guess, okay, because it's not going to change anything, so.
So Andy, you'll keep us posted on that?
I will let you know Monday.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anything else, or can we move on? All right, moving on. Finalize solid waste regulations.
There you go. The board has a, last meeting I presented the solid waste regulations for the board's review. You, I assume, still have a copy of that. I believe it was Mr. Rowland who proposed that we take the extra month to make sure we got this right and have a chance to really review it and make sure you're comfortable with it. So I bring it forth to you unchanged. Does the board want to go forth with this edition or this edited version of the solid waste regulations? And bring it to a hearing and eventual adoption.
Roland, this was just those couple of changes that we did for just the housekeeping, correct?
It was to change the regulation to reflect our present operation
Right.
with the Southbridge toters and the present rules and regulations.
Right. Do you guys,
And it was to strike the old things before we got the toter.
right. Did you guys look over them? Do you have any issues or questions, or do you want to consider moving forward? Tony, Nicole?
I don't think anything really stands out for me personally.
Tony? I feel like he's reading it right now.
Oh, no, I know. No, I'm good with moving forward with it.
I mean, we've had them for quite some time, and I don't have any problems with it. Roland, you wrote them. I think he's double checking them again.
No,
He's got
because there was a couple of things that was supposed to be changed to reflect the nightmare we went to when we had the public hearing of, what was it, 42 or 52 Main Street? I'm trying to see where the heck it was.
All right, so the changes that were made were 5.2.2. We added 5.2.2.0. We added 5.2.2.7. We added 5.3.1. Couple of grammatical corrections here and there, and I believe that was it.
I just saw one thing that for housekeeping, 5.1.1. And this will reflect what we went through on that.
Yeah.
Dwellings not exceeding 6 dwelling units per parcel.
Okay,
And that will address the miscommunication on 52 or 42, whatever Main Street that was. That was what I was looking for. Because that was the only odd thing off of 222 and things like that.
Dun, 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 dun. Did you find him okay, Roll?
I think that was the only thing I saw.
Okay. So then are we ready to proceed with these?
I think we are, with that one change per parcel, so that addresses the multiple buildings.
All right, so it should be a short hearing. I can't imagine there's going to be any opposition to this. So I will start advertising it, and I'll have to
Okay.
review 11131, but I believe we'll be able to put it on our next meeting as a hearing on our next meeting.
And
Okay,
that's going to include the changes in the fee schedule, correct?
We will bring both of them forward.
all right. Do we need to do anything else? I forget.
I do not believe so. It doesn't require a vote. It's really just a discussion to decide if there's any additional changes that are required.
Okay. All right. So we're good. Moving on. Chairman announcements. I don't have any. I'm tired. That's my announcement. I'm tired. Andy, health
I
structure
have
now.
two. Next weekend, Saturday, we're planning to have the clean up Southbridge Day, Beautify Southbridge Day. That is going to be running from 8:30 till noon. April and I, and hopefully a couple other people from my office, will be set up outside the town hall. Anybody who wants to walk up, grab some bags. We'll give them some instructions on where to leave the bags, how to handle needles, stuff like that. We'll give them a phone call that I will go out and pick up all the needles that they find. And hopefully we'll have a successful cleanup day. We didn't have one last year. I'm optimistic about a turnout this year because I think that people need something to just get out and do something productive and feel like they're contributing again.
Hey, Andy.
Yep.
Is it just pick a place and pick any place to go and clean up, or are we
Well,
doing like a map?
What we will do is I will have a map there, and I have some ideas of the worst areas in town, and I would love your input if you want to let me know where you think are the worst areas in town. But people will walk up. I will ask them, do you have a place where you want to concentrate on? And if they don't, I'll assign them a place. Probably
Okay.
about a mile route.
Okay. Yeah, I think that that's a good idea. Just because like for me, I would like to participate, but I don't know. I mean, we're pretty much kind of okay over here. You know, I would rather go somewhere that's a little more, you know, could use a little more TLC.
There's a lot of areas in town that have suffered. River Street's looking pretty sad. Dresser Street, down East Main Street. Always like to get somebody down near the parks because Little League will be kicking up about the same time. So the high exposure areas and the more trashed areas, we're pretty much aware of a lot of them.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Second thing I have is I brought to the board at the last meeting that we might have a chance to participate in a regional effort. It's a $300,000 grant that we can receive. CMRPC is being the host of this grant. And we had discussed possibilities of this grant. It's a public health grant. It's a public health excellence for shared services grant, so it has to be a regional approach. And a lot of the South Central Mass towns are underserved as far as inspections and stuff like that. And also, I proposed that a proactive person who can take on some of the, what do they call them? Winnable battles, the asthmas, the spousal abuse, the substance abuse. So we split the grant. We applied for the grant through CMRPC, and we have been approved for the grant, split with some people will have shared inspections, and we can partake of that if we need it. And The others will be using a person who will look to improving the proactive stuff in the town, the stuff that we just never seem to have the resources to connect to. We have a recycle coordinator, but she doesn't go much further than that. I'll probably be bringing at the June meeting a proposed mission statement and a request to the board to support it. I will try to get you as much information between now and then as we move forward and start working on some of the documents that are involved in getting this grant. The grant is approved for us if we go through the whole application process and if the town supports it. This town cannot support it without a supporting vote by the Board of Health. So it'll go from the Board of Health to the Council for support. And if we get support all the way through, we'll be a member of this group. But I am a member of the planning board in order to get this thing moving and get it up to at least a point where we can apply for the grant, or we can accept the grant. The grant has been applied for and been granted to the town or to the group.
And how much, and I forgot, how much were we, so I know we gotta split it. How, did they break it down like specifically, or is it just as a whole?
We haven't broken it down specifically yet. The grant is for $300,000.
Okay,
Some of the money will go to the host agency. Some of the money will go to the organizing agency. The organizing agency being CMRPC. The
right,
plan right now is to house these people as employees of the town of Webster, but available to the region.
okay. All right,
Is that the same grant that I saw that came from Senator Fatman's office?
I am not sure. This is the Central Mass Regional Planning Commission. It
I
is
don't think
called
so.
Public Health Excellence for Shared Services Grant.
No, I saw something else.
another
that
one.
Senator Fatman had gotten grants. They were two different groups of communities, and they were public health grants. And there was a $300,000 grant for that Southbridge Webster. I'm not sure if it was Oxford, but there was 3 towns in our group that would share 300,000, and it was for public health.
Yeah, it was, I'm looking.
Yeah, it said nothing on Central Mass Regional Planning.
Yeah, it didn't have anything to do with that. It was something else because it was weird. It was like Uxbridge and Charlton and Southbridge.
Yeah.
It was kind of an odd.
It was
group.
town specific. Yes.
I am not aware of that grant. The grant that we're talking about right now, membership, I believe there's 6 or 7 towns. There is Webster.
Oh, no, it is. You know, Roland, I'm looking at it right now. It is. It is that grant.
All right.
It is that grant. So it was the Blackstone Valley, $277,397 in the towns. Oh, that's the different one. So then there was Blackstone Valley, and then there was the Webster Partnership that gets $300,000, and that's Dudley, Oxford, Southbridge, and Webster. That's what it is.
Auburn is also involved in it. I don't know if it lists that, but Auburn is a player.
Okay. Yeah, he didn't. It's the Shared Public Health Service. Yeah, it is the CMRP. Yeah. Okay. That is the same one that we found. Okay. Anything else?
That is all I have.
All right, board member announcements. Nicole?
Nothing at this time, but I just wanted to put out there again, just as a reminder, if anyone knows of anyone or, you know, down the line, anyone in need of any food or anything like that, that gentleman that has that nonprofit organization, he's kind of asked to see if there's any other families that could use his services. So just want to remind people and put that out there. Please reach out to me if there's anyone that you come across or, you know, anyone that you know of that would know somebody.
Okay, great. Roland.
Andy, has there been any feedback on my complaint on the Thursday crash route?
I did the route today myself. Not Hunter, Hector has been doing that route since you brought it up. Actually, he's been doing it. He has not seen the black bags you talk of at the corner of Eastford and Dennison. I went up there today at 10 o'clock. Trash had not been picked up yet, and there were no black bags out there. I also specifically drove your road today because you had spoken of the improper recycle container down the road from where you live, and that container was not out this week. It is a recycling week, but they must not have had the overflow. So that was not out. We continue to keep our eyes on it, and if we see the bags out again, we will ask Casella why they pick up those bags. But I have not seen those bags out that you speak of. I did put a call in to Glenn, asking him if why he's picking up trash bags there, and he didn't get back.
Well, I will just say that when I left my house this morning to be at the Armory at 9, there was still illegal containers on Dennison Hill and a big black bag sitting at the entrance of the Cordwood farm.
Okay, so if that bag was there when you went by and in the morning, and it wasn't there at 10, and the trash truck had not gone by yet, then somebody else has taken that bag, because the trash trucks were not up there by 10 o'clock. None of the trash had been picked up. So that bag must be related to something else.
I don't know what to tell you, but when I came home, there was non-legal containers sitting out there still that were now empty. So I just don't know, but we're doing regulations that need to be, we got to enforce this stuff, or otherwise we just take it off the books. Were you able to find out any information for Mr. Gregoire on his well?
I have not met up with Anna yet. I will. Anna has all the information on that well. Actually, no, I forwarded the email to you, Ritz. So we'll dig deeper into our records and see who drilled that well and try to get a well report from them. We couldn't find a well report. Ritz is right in front of me. She says she couldn't find it.
Are they still adding test wells around that landfill?
I do not believe they're adding any more. They're all of the ones that DEP has asked for are in or under appeal. I believe there's some on the northeast corner between the landfill and Sturbridge that Casella is still asking if they really have to put them in, but they are not drilling any right now. But I can confirm that. I know they're not drilling any, but I can confirm if there's any more proposed.
There's another little road that appeared on the left when you go up Pleasant Street that goes in with a chain across, so I did not know. All right, I'm just forwarding stuff that comes to me. That's all I have.
Okay, Tony,
I'm good.
glad someone is. Stop it. I've been unruly puppy. He's not behaving. All right. Schedule next meeting.
Second Thursday in June is the 10th.
At 6 o'clock.
Yep, that works.
Perfect.
All right. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second.
Roland LaRochelle,
Yes.
Beth Stevens,
Yes.
Nicole Duffy,
Yes.
Anthony Postoli.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Meeting adjourned 7:56.
All right.
Have a great weekend, everybody.
Bye, you too.
You
See you,
too.
Nicole.
Bad.